Good evening and welcome to everyone on Love 101 FM, Facebook, and YouTube Live. This is Family Time. Family Time is about your issues and your relationships. It's about your at-home family, your community family, and your global family. Family Time is produced by Family Life Ministries, and our aim is to enable healthy families, which will lead to healthy nations. So stay with us and please connect with us via all our platforms. You can friend us on Facebook at FLM-Family Life Ministries, or you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is Family Life Ministries-FLMJA. And on Instagram, you can keep up with what's happening, and that's simply FLMJA. That's on Instagram. Now, while Family Time is a family program, we'd like to caution that it may, on the odd occasion, touch on what some people may consider mature subject matter. So your discretion is advised if you have youngsters listening with you. All right? My name is Roland Gale, and I'm going to be your host for tonight. Now, as men age, things change. Many things. Different things. In different ways and in different places and stages. Physically, mentally, and especially health-wise. When do these changes start? Is it strange? Is it surprising? Is it obvious? Is only you know? Is it different from what you were told or saw growing up? And this thing about midlife crisis, is it a real thing? Or is it more of just a general life crisis once men pass a certain age? We want to get to the truth today. The truth about the gentlemen who are aging. While we look into that, we want to hear from you. So here is your feedback question. Men, what do you like most about aging? And I know you're going to say, is there anything that I like about aging? Well, yes, we want to find out from you. If there is anything you like about aging, what do you like most? And you can send your answers via WhatsApp text or voice notes, and the number is 9973125. And please try to keep those voice notes no longer than 30 seconds. And then you can also call our studio lines. And those are 968-8327 or 968-8328. And you can watch and comment live on our Facebook page and on our YouTube channel. We're going to be right back with our special guests. Tonight we have with us Eric Hosin and James Donald. When we get into the truth about men and aging, you're going to want to hear about it. Don't go nowhere.
Revelation 1 verse 14 describes Jesus' hair as being white like wool, as white as snow. Is this literally or figuratively so? Does like wool suggest that Jesus also had dark skin and eyes? Daniel also described Jesus as having hair like wool. But yet, we still think of it as symbolism. Does he have to have one specific color, or can he be the color we each see him as? Tuesday, March 18, on The Rock. Join guests Pastor Dane Wilson and Pastor Silburn Carr as they discuss the topic, Jesus, red, yellow, black, or white. That's The Rock. Tuesday, March 18 at 10 a.m. right here on the family station, Love 101.
Welcome back to Family Time on Love 101 FM. Now, we know that men generally don't like discussing things of a personal nature, but tonight we found two men who will. Want to find out from them, did they have expectations, plans, any disappointments that came across their lives? when they were going into this gray hair club or reaching grandpa status. So we want to greet them now, and it is our very special guest, Eric Hosin, and he enjoys gardening in his spare time. And of course, we also have with us James Darnall. And Mr. Darnall grew up in a small town in southern Indiana, and according to him, his town is so small that they have more cows than people. And I think that's hilarious. Am I saying your name correctly, Mr. Darnall?
Yeah, you're good.
All right, great. And so you have more cows than people.
Well, that was back in the 50s. And the people have kind of overcome the cows. And I think basically it was because they ate them. So
I guess there were not many vegetarians around there.
Well, it's not bad to have a potato on the side when you're having a steak, but basically these people like the red meat. So we have experienced a growth in the area, and we've had an influx of a lot of people. While we even have traffic jams now on our one-lane road, it's ridiculous. So I preferred the way it was to the way it is, but the town aged.
The town aged, and we're going to be talking about aging. So let me remind our listeners, remember your feedback question. Men, what do you like most about aging? And I'm going to ask the ladies, what do you like most about your spouse or your man aging? What aspect of the aging do you like the most? And our WhatsApp number is 9973125. If you're sending a voice note, please keep it to less than 30 seconds. And then you can also watch us and comment live on our Facebook page and on our YouTube channel. So Eric, it's good to see you again.
Hey, Roland, good to see you and good to be here with you and James and Dave, all the listeners and those watching on YouTube and whatever else, Blessing.
Absolutely. Great to have you both, gentlemen. So let's get going. You may have heard the phrase, men age like fine wine. And that's supposed to mean that we age gracefully. Or you may also have heard the other one, he's a man of character. And that means that you have proven yourself in many ways. And, it may be true. But we also believe that there are some men who age like old socks. Them kind of get stretched out and then kind of develop holes here and there. I am not sure if that applies to either of you gentlemen. And so we're going to find out the truth about aging. Tell us a little bit about yourselves. And Sir James, do you mind if I call you James, sir?
That's fine with me.
All right. I'm going to ask you to tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, what kind of information would you like to know?
Well, first of all, how old are you, sir?
Well, right now I'm 76, but in August I will celebrate, what is it, the 56th anniversary of my 21st birthday.
Excellent. I love it. The 21st stays there. Do you have any grandchildren? Any children?
We have 3 children and 5 grandchildren. Now,
nice.
They were the most beautiful children God ever gave anybody. But truly, I like the grandchildren better.
I hear you. So, Eric, tell us a little about yourself.
With these guys.
Yeah.
Well, very quickly, I am 65 this year, December. Born in Kingston, the Jubilee Hospital. Grew up on Maxfield Avenue, down by, no man's land, I guess, those years.
I think Eric is having a bit of technical difficulties, no problem. So, Sir James, what were your expectations when it came to getting older? Did you have any expectations, Sir James?
Well, actually, it came so fast, I didn't have time to expect it. It could just, like just this morning, I woke up getting prepared and I was shaving and all that. And I noticed something, that today I'm older than I've ever been in my whole life. Again.
Again.
It's just there. Remember, life is like the palm of your hand, the length of the palm of your hand. It's a vapor. It's here one day and gone the next. And I celebrate each day. I'm glad for the gift of life that God gives me, no matter what. So that's why they call it a present. And I enjoy each day. I can't linger in the past, and I can't go to the future, but I can have the best time I can right here today. And that's
Right here
I don't know,
today.
Roland, are you hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you now, sir. Eric, we didn't hear you before, so I'm going to ask you again if you could just tell us a little about yourself, if you have children and so on.
Yes. Well, I'm Eric Hossein. 64 this year, 65 this year. I have 3 girls. I'm a girls man, and I have 4 grandchildren. And like James, I wouldn't want to say this on the radio that, boy, I love them. They are wonderful girls, but my grandchildren are better. But they know that's what the problem is. The grandchildren, I mean, that's one of the joys of aging, boy. These grandchildren, I don't know, is an amazing blessing. But you just spoil them and send them home.
Absolutely. So, Eric, were there any expectations on your part when you looked at getting older, when you began to celebrate the anniversary of your 21st birthday, as James did? Did you have any expectations of how it would be when you aged?
The Ecclesiastes 12 tell us, remember now you're creating the days of your youth before the difficult days come. And I think part of the difficult days was when I realized after 3 years of not playing football, I gave away my football boots, knowing that I have to put it up because in addition to, gardening, my wife will tell you, he watches anything that has a ball.
Wow.
I love to watch sports. So, that was a difficult decision, but just aging and, planning for it when, reaching the age that you thought when you were 21 will never happen. You will never get there. You'll never be like one of those old fogies and old age and thing. When you get there, you realize, whoa, I'm one of them.
You're one of them. So you actually figured that there were old fogies out there, but that you wouldn't become one.
Oh boy, that was maybe another life after I go to heaven.
After you go to heaven, wow. What was your perception of older people, Sir James, when you were young? What was your perception of older people?
Well, the older people that I was close to, as it was said back when I was a youngster, I lived in the bush. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. So it was a family relationship. Grandmothers, grandfathers, aunts and uncles. And I thought the older folks was the coolest people because they never got upset. I mean, they didn't care if you wanted to eat ice cream instead of your whatever they were having. Let them have it. They're only little ones. Good folks. I like their attitude. So anyway, I've had a lot of experience with older people through the years. I've always liked to listen and hear what they have to say. My father, God bless him, he should be the man here on this show right now because that fellow could carry the whole show. He used to tell me about wisdom. He says, son, wisdom ain't worth anything except for those who've got it. You can't sell it. You can't give it away. You can't rub it on them. Said, don't worry yourself about trying to educate the youngsters. Time and pain will do that for them. I said, time and pain? He said, time will always mature you and pain will teach you, such as don't pick up the hot horseshoe. Only once will you do that. And pain is your teacher. And he's good. He's a good friend because it will kind of like we have a thing down here called a pinball machine. Got these balls you bounce up in there and they hit these devices that bounce it around. Pain will bounce you off of one thing. And if you're listening close to what it's telling you,
you will learn.
You will alter your course of action.
Right.
You can get pain in your wallet, pain in your heart.
Right.
Pain further south than your heart. Pain comes everywhere.
Pain everywhere. That's so right, sir. we're going to have to go for a break. And I'm reminding our listeners to answer the feedback question. Men, What do you like most about aging? We're looking forward to hearing what you have to say. Numbers to send it to 997-3125 or our studio line 968-8327 or 968-8328. You can comment and watch us on our Facebook page and on our YouTube channel. And just so that you know, the numbers for the FLM head office in Kingston are 920-1034 and 926-8101. Stick around for more revelations from our guests, Eric Hosin and James Darnall. Soon be back, all right? Don't go nowhere.
Sardines by your side. Doesn't slow down, and neither do you. Brunswick boneless sardines are packed with omega-3 and ready to eat right out of the can. Try the hot peppers, the delicious olive oil, or the new spicy Thai chili on its own or on a cracker. However you like it. Brunswick boneless sardines. Snacking made easy, snacking made healthy, snacking made tasty.
What are your financial goals? Consider who you are and where you want to be. Do you want to open your own business? Do you want to own a home? Invest in properties, go back to school, send your children to school. Then you have to save. But first, you have to have a budget. This financial literacy tip was brought to you by Bank of Jamaica, building an inclusive economy.
In Jamaica, your rights are protected by our Constitution. From the right to education to freedom of expression, every citizen deserves respect and dignity. But remember, with rights come responsibilities. Let's uplift and respect each other and stand against injustice. Together, we can make Jamaica a better place for ourselves and future generations. Know your rights. Embrace your responsibilities. This message was brought to you by the Ministry of Legal and Constitutional Affairs.
Welcome back. We are talking about the truth about men and aging. This is Family Time on Love 101 FM. And we're going to ask you to share your personal answers to the question. And it is this: men, what do you like most about aging? So we want looking out for your answers to that question. Now, as men age, they experience gradual declines in testosterone and other hormones, things they can hardly do anything about. But there are also other changes. And the question is, can they control any of these changes at all? Let's try and have a discussion about all of that. And so we're going to invite our guests to come back in. We have with us Eric Hosin and James Darnall, and it's so good to have these gentlemen on. Now, the truth of the matter is, if you're watching any of our video, you will see that I have gray here and nothing up here. So I am kind of matching the two gentlemen. One of the gentlemen has nothing and the other one has gray. So I'm kind of the middle ground between the two of them. Gentlemen, good to have you on again. Good to have you on with us today, and want to ask you a simple question. Did you at any point in time realize that you were old? Sir James, go ahead.
Okay.
Well, I'll tell you when I get there.
So you're not old yet.
I tell you what, here's something that I always use. Your attitude. First off, if your attitude is positive, things aren't as bad. If it's negative, everything is bad. And you can describe yourself as a 77-year-old man, or you can describe yourself as a man that's 77 years old. It all depends on what you want to think of yourself about. Myself, I'm very active. I'm in the construction business. I've been doing this business for 54 years. I work it every day of the week. My guys who are much younger than me, they say there's no way you're that old. You're here first thing in the morning. You work all day. You're the last one off the job. And said you never turn down a job. You're always ready to take on another one. I said, ladies and gentlemen, You have to work because you need to have the money. You may not have the knowledge of the need, but that knowledge or that need will, reveal
Will
itself.
present itself. It
It-
will present itself.
when you least expect it or least prepared.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
my father was a Depression era baby, and he had an obsession about food. He would cook food all the day, and he'd always have something cooking. And I asked him one day, I said, Dad, why you cook so much food? He said, just in case. I said, just in case what? He said, just in case you get hungry. I said, but Dad, there's plenty of food. He said, but you don't understand. When I was a youngster, I knew I wasn't going to have breakfast in the morning because I had no supper in the evening. So we were short of food. They were desperately short of food where he grew up and when he grew up. And his father died when he was 16 and he had to take over the family. So he had
Right.
a very hard time. And shortly thereafter, he went in the Navy on World War II. He had a heck of a time. So he was always about food. Me, I'm just saying, well, I've never experienced that shortage. So these are the things that pinball you around to how you change.
Pinball around.
Yeah,
Indeed, sir. Not cutting you off, but I'm going to ask Eric if he can give us an idea as to when he realized or if he realized that he is old.
Well, I guess when my daughters started telling me, are you hearing me?
Yes, sir, I'm hearing you.
Yeah, when my daughter starts saying, "Oh, old man," call me old man, I guess I realized then I'm up there. But really, I think as you grow in age, it is a I agree, it's all up here. What do you think of yourself, and how do you carry yourself, and how do you become maybe depressed over it? Because you have to realize that time is going to come and certain things you're going to put beside it, but then you have to take on new things. And I think just relying on the wisdom of those who were ahead of me, who used to tell me about some of the things you should expect and some of the things you can do to kind of reduce the pain of old age. Exercise, make sure you do all the right things, eat properly. I used to eat a whole lot. You start to realize, well, you need to cut back because it's harder to take it off. That's a part of finding out that you're really up there in age when you find it's a little harder to get rid of it.
Yes. Absolutely. Sir James, you work in construction, and your workers and the people that your colleagues and all of them say, man, you can't be the age that you say you are. Yeah. What is it about construction work or about physical work that you think helps as you age?
Well, it's the old adage, if you don't use it, you're going to lose it. It's very physical, and it's long hours. We will, well, last year we started January the 1st. We worked 90 days in a row without a day off. We were doing 50 to 60 hours on a 40-hour week, on the 5-day week. And on the weekend, we would do 19 to 22, 23 hours on the weekend for 90 days. And finally, my crew said, we're not working no more, you crazy old man. I said, old man, I ain't quitting. You are. So anyway, it keeps me, I'm all the time working every day, doing something. And like my wife says, when are you going to retire? I said, honey, what are you going to do the second week after I quit? And I started arranging your day. I said,
that's right.
You're not going to like that. She loves me now, but she's not going to like me much after that. She said,
absolutely, sir. Absolutely. Sir Eric, has that crossed your mind? What are you going to do when you retire? Is your wife going to invite you home every day?
Well, the thing is, my wife actually works also, and she's 2 years younger than me. So she will retire 2 years after me. But certainly, I have my plans. So take care of my grandchildren, spend more time doing some church work, visitation, and so on. But, somebody told me if you enjoy what you do, you will find yourself younger and you will find yourself less stressed out. But if you don't like what you do, you're going to get old fast and you're going to get all kind of ailments and so on. So I've tried to do the things that I love, and the work that I do, I try to find the joy in it. And thank God, that has just been a tremendous blessing. So people say to me, oh, no way you are 64. You're tricking us up and all of that. But I think the blessings of the Lord make it rich and added no sorrow to it. But
Absolutely.
I'm very thankful, But it is a joy to just look forward to say you have done your time. You need to give others an opportunity to earn, because I'm not a self-employed like James, and I work in an organization, an executive position. But I say, you have to step on to allow others to get their opportunity to also be in that executive position and achieve some of the goals you have achieved in an executive position. But then you go on to do other things, as I said, more work in the church. Up to yesterday, my pastor and I were there talking. He was giving me advice as to things he'd like to see me get involved with and helping out with more. I'm very involved at church, even though, for 40 years. I got saved when I was 14, and I've been involved with church very heavily all through my life. Very, very heavily, finance committee, evangelism. I'm in charge of evangelism at church, finance committee. I've been involved with special events planning, altar workers. He says that I've been in everything except the women's movement at church.
Except the women's ministry.
But he says he thinks I'm an honorary member of that.
Yes. I hear that. Sir James and Sir Eric, one of the things that you had said, James, is that experience comes with time. I believe that's what you had said. And as we age, what is it that really guides our behavior? Is it this thing that, I want to avoid pain, or is there something else to it?
Well, the truth that the only thing that really guides us is God's word, plain and simple. You got to take that in every day. You got to meditate on it every day. And one thing he'll tell you is, you're supposed to be of a sober mind. So when I was a young guy, I quit all vices. So I don't smoke or drink or gamble or chase women. I don't do any of that stuff. I have one woman that I've been with her for my whole adult life. And one is all you need, the right one. And that thing about finding the right woman, I believe that's true. But I also believe that we have to become the right person for each other too. And she's a good Christian girl. And without her, she's the spark plug of my engine. I wouldn't be worth a hoot without her. So no, she's
I love that.
Of all the things God has given me besides salvation, she is the best blessing I have ever received. And I cannot thank God enough for her.
I love that, sir. And I'm going to go for the break on that comment. I think we have heard from someone who is 77 years old that the best gift God has given him is a good woman, aside from salvation. I love that. You're listening to Family Time Live on Love 101 FM. And you can also listen to us on YouTube or on Facebook. And it's produced by Family Life Ministries. For our social media interaction, we want you to tell us, men, what do you like most about aging? Send your answers to our WhatsApp line, 997-3125. And we're going to go for the word to flesh moment before we go for the break. And this is from Reverend Mike. And we enjoy hearing from Reverend Mike. Let's go to that. The word to flesh.
In the Bible, growing old is associated with growing in wisdom, experience, and in God's love and care. In current life, we know that is not everyone's aging experience. Some people pop down physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually as they age. According to the Bible, this does not have to be so. Here's how to age with God's grace and renewed strength. Number 1, stay close to God and get to know Him more. Isaiah 46, even to your old age, I am He who will sustain you. I will rescue you. Daniel 11, the people who know their God shall be strong and do exploits. Number 2, be purposeful. Psalm 90 says, So teach us to number our days that we may get a heart of wisdom. Make each day a day of achieving some specific, God-honoring, nation-building, wise purpose. Number 3, keep learning and stay engaged in work. Joshua 14 declares, Lord, give me that mountain. This is the story of a gentleman who was given an assignment 40 years previously, but was unable to fulfill it because of the failure of others. In his old age, he didn't give up the assignment. He simply asked God for strength. All of us have unfinished assignments somewhere. Age is not an excuse to give up, but a chance to lean on God for more strength to achieve our unfinished work. After all, he promises in Psalm 103 to satisfy our desires with good things so that our youth is renewed like the eagles. I'm Reverend Mike from Fellowship Tabernacle, and we just had a WTF moment.
The time by Grace Could Move is...
It's 1 minute past 6.
Sometimes all we need is a listening ear. The listening ear, the counseling, the logical reasoning, and spiritual guidance are what appeal to us. That's why I'm here. I'm Dr. Joan Pinkney, the counselor, your counselor on Love 101 FM, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, 10 to 11 p.m. You know you can call on me. I will listen and more. So let's talk about what's bothering you. Anything. Tune in, listen, call in, text or voice message. I'm Dr. Joan Pinkney, counseling psychologist, ready with a listening ear. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, 10 to 11 p.m. Right here on the family station, Love 101 FM.
On the next Campus Connection, we'll be focusing on healthy life balance. A healthy life balance involves finding the right equilibrium between work, personal life, and well-being, encompassing physical, mental, and social health, and allowing for time for rest, hobbies, and relationships. You are invited to join the conversation with Shadeen Williamson, teacher of food, nutrition, and health at Port Antonio High School, and Loretta Dowse Collins, educator and justice of the peace. And don't miss our creative block guest, Ornesia Williams Blackstock, event host, public speaking coach, and entrepreneur. Campus Connection is brought to you by Heart NSTA Trust. Skill is power. That's Campus Connection, Tuesday, March 18 at 5:30 p.m. Only on the family station, Love 101.
Welcome back. You are listening to Family Time on Love 101 FM. And Family Time is brought to you by Family Life Ministries. FLM provides counseling for people with all kinds of challenges from all walks of life. And our show this evening is The Truth About Men and Aging. And we are here now at 3 minutes past 6. So in other words, this particular show has aged. We have with us two special guests, Eric Hosin and James Darnell. And I want to ask the gentlemen, now that you are at the age you are at, would you change anything? Is there anything you would want to say why this aging should have taken a different direction? Go ahead, Eric.
No, I've enjoyed, I've looked back on life and I've said to myself, boy, you've got a good run. I've seen the goodness of God. I mean, I've seen over time just what others have chosen and the path they have chosen and the pain and the suffering that they have gone through. I mean, I've had my own struggles and trials, but God has truly helped me through them. And I've seen the hand and the mercy of God. Like James, I have met my wife in college, really my first girlfriend. I mean, I knew other girls, but my real first girlfriend, and I've married her. We have been married now almost 39 years. And what a tremendous blessing. And, you know, we have brought up 3 girls, as I said, and now 4 grandchildren, 2 sons-in-law. I mean, I can't ask for more, you know. I've seen God hand work in the lives of my friends, my family, just how the way God has just, dealt with me over time. It has been challenging for sure, but certainly I must give him thanks, because it has just been a tremendous blessing, just reaching this stage and seeing and looking back on some of the younger ones and saying, boy, just laughing to see that, boy, they're making some of the mistakes I made. But, they soon learn. They soon learn. And they try to provide some advice and guidance, which is what I got from some men. I mean, I grew up in a household where my father wasn't really there. And really, if you want to know what to do, what not to do as a father, just watch my father. You just don't do the things he did, but big mistakes. But I learned from some other men that I knew, friends, fathers, and so on. And, it has just been a blessing just to hear from them the guidance that has really proven to be very helpful to me. So I'll say to some young people, hey, don't just throw the old people out and say, listen to them, because they have gone through some of the things you're going through. You may say, well, there was no internet that time or so, but they have gone through life experiences. And that's really the key, So I would say, boy, I give thanks. I'm blessed. Troubles and trials there are, but God has certainly been just an amazing God to me. Where I am today, nobody would know that I'd ever reach this. People have said it, what I've achieved.
They didn't expect that. Sir James, as you look back on the journey at where you are now and where you're coming from, how would you describe it? Is there anything you would have done differently? Anything that you really just said, man, that's amazing?
Well, all in all, it's been a good journey. It's been exciting. I've had the thrill of victory, the agony of defeat, everything in between. I was blessed with a very good woman to share my life, and I just can't thank her enough for being there with me. Some of the things I regret: when I was younger, I had too much testosterone and not enough intelligence. So I was out of balance, and sometimes I would let my enthusiasm, as my daddy used to say, your hummingbird mouth will overload. Your alligator mouth will overload your hummingbird tail feathers. So
wow.
I sometimes put myself into places I shouldn't be. They, financial mistakes that I always thought they was good until I found out later about the pain. And I used to be a plunger. Now I'm like, I'm I'm more like a turtle now. So I'm much more conservative in financial dealings. I mean, I've made a lot of money, and unfortunately, I lost a lot of money, but the Lord still takes care of me. But it was a ride. It was a good time. And
it was a ride, absolutely. I love the comment that you made, Sir James, about having too much testosterone for intelligence, for the intelligence that you had. And as we get older as men, it seems as if our testosterone production declines. How has that been? What is that aspect of the aging process like for you?
Well, to me, it's been a blessing. I mean, I still have, we still have our romantic times, but at the same time, it doesn't drive me like it used to. I mean, you got that testosterone flowing all the time, brother. You think some really stupid things. You look upon things that you shouldn't be looking upon. You think things that you shouldn't be thinking, and it's a conflict, an internal conflict that you have to take these thoughts captive, and you got to cast them back into health, which they came. You got to keep your helmet of salvation on tight, because the devil is constantly, every day, every moment of the day, he listens to every word you say, and he injects these thoughts into your head, and you must be aware and be, knowledgeable of your being under attack. When I was younger, I didn't really think that that was a reality, but it is, because we're in a spiritual war and we fight it every day. And do not leave your bed without your full armor strapped on, because as soon as your feet shod with the gospel of peace, when you get on that vertical, it's on. It's on all day long, from the beginning of your birth to the day you go home. That fight is going on. and we are Christian soldiers, so we should always be armed up. We should never be lax in that. So all I can tell you to the younger people, you don't have to believe what I said, but I'll tell you, pain will come to teach you that you heard truth tonight, whether you believe it now or not. Put on your full armor, get your Bible, keep it with you, read it, think about it, pray continuously. Don't take anything for granted. That's one thing I've really gotten an appreciation for as I've gotten older. So many things that I took for granted are now cherished. And things that I used to cherish are dust in the wind. So my perspective has changed. And I thank God for that, because there are so many vices and superfluities that cloud your mind and your actions that can lead you to destruction. So be aware. He's out there like a lion every day, looking to devour who he may. Don't be a victim. Be a victor, but you won't be a victim if you don't have the armor and the knowledge. You got to stay in the word, brother. Got to.
Stay in the word. So, Eric, your comments.
You know, unfortunately, I had a friend who actually wasn't a Christian, but he decided, well, because his thing has reduced his testosterone level and, you know, erectile dysfunction, he thought that life wasn't of any use to him. And he actually starved himself and stopped taking his medication and died. And that's really something that many men may not go to that level, but it's like they feel that they are useless. But the reality is that it is what you put the priority on life on. Is it just the physical, the sex, and, well, you know, if I can't do that, then I'm of no use. I'm not a man anymore. You are a man. It's just that you have made certain wrong priorities, because love is not just sex. No. Love is far beyond that. I mean, my baby love, my honey bunny, I mean, she's just amazing. I tell her, up to yesterday, I think I wrote, she was away, and I said to her, and I wrote and said, I don't deserve you, because, you know, you are such a tremendous blessing. Where I am today is only because of her, you know, and she has had to protect me from myself with making some bad financial decisions, thinking that I know it and I'm going to do this, you know. But so you want to be in charge, you want to think, and if you don't have that, but, you know, aging is a thing. You have to set yourself right from before mentally to make sure your priorities are right, because, you know, you're going to get yourself into trouble and you're going to get yourself self-defeated, because you set your priorities wrong.
Setting the right priorities. Gentlemen, you have said a lot of very important stuff here. Where do we fit when we think about somebody like Moses, who lived to the ripe old age of 120 and didn't retire? When he passed away, he had all his faculties, his eyes, his health, his hearing. The Bible tells us that he was good and strong and he was able to work. What about us when something happens, or when life takes over and we are no longer as strong as we were?
But, you know, Roland,
how do we address that? Go ahead, sir.
Just to say that same Moses wrote Psalm 90. And he says in Psalm 90, teach me to number my days, that I may apply my heart unto wisdom. So every day you need to, not when you're just old, but from every day, no matter your age, you need to really make sure that your life is one of purpose, is purpose driven, that you are focused, that you really take time to not just live and say, que sera, sera, whatever will be, will be. The future is not ours to see, que sera. No, it is one that you have to be deliberate. And as James said, you have to be on your guard. Make sure you are covered under the blood. Make sure the word of God is sink in your heart, that you will not forget it, that you live by it in righteousness, because God says, be ye holy, for I am holy. And just to be purposeful in your actions. Plan for the future. Work towards a plan. Don't just live a life. And I think that will help a lot for you, no matter your age. Be purposeful. Number your days. Take account of it and live it purposefully and deliberately.
Absolutely. We're going to go for another break, gentlemen. Too much break in this program, man. But we have to go for the break. And we want to remind you that Family Time is produced by Family Life Ministries. And the feedback question that we have right now is, men, what do you like most about aging? Send your answers via WhatsApp text. And the number is this, 997-3125. You can watch and comment on our Facebook page and on our YouTube channel. Also, did you know there are 2 books from FLM you'll want on your shelves today? The first one is Answers to Questions Parents Ask. And the second is Questions on Love, Sex, and Marriage. Purchase any of these valuable reads from Brian's Bookstore, the Jamaica Baptist Union Bookstore, and also Source of Light Bookstore. And then there's a third book, Before They Say I Do, the questionnaire and manual specifically for counselors, psychologists, pastors, and marriage officers. This is available on Amazon through a simple search for Barry Davidson. All 3 books, including the 3rd edition of Before They Say I Do, are available through Family Life Ministries. So you can call them, and the numbers are 920-1034 and 926-8101. This is our final break. Don't go nowhere. We're going to be right back.
We've seen a lot of our customers make some good moves over the years. Whether it's sharing a hug with a friend you haven't seen in a long time or sharing a meal, Grace has been there. So let's keep making these moments together, because rest assured, every time you choose Grace, you know you're making a good move. Oh, it's a good move when you're moving with Grace.
Welcome back. It is now 17 minutes past 6, and you are tuned to Love 101 FM. This is Family Time, brought to you by Family Time Ministries. And FLM provides counseling for people with all kinds of challenges from all walks of life. Remember, you can tune into the program via our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. Today we're talking about the truth about men and aging. Our special guests are James Darnell and Eric Hosin. Gentlemen, I have enjoyed this talk, and I would love for us to get together and talk again at our men's, what we call life builders at our church, because we consider men to be life builders. And so I would love to get a chance to have you gentlemen talk with us again.
No problem. No problem.
What I'm going to ask you now may be a little odd, but I want to ask you, what is your outlook for the next 20 years, for the next 30 years?
You know, my outlook is, what can I do to help others, really? And what can I pour into other person's life? And what guidance and advice I can give, not just spiritual, but even in terms of us living, you know, for good progress. Because I've seen, you know, the results of various persons living different types of life and what has been the result of it. And I speak even from a financial standpoint, because sometimes even as we get older, we don't plan enough from our financial. We plan about our health. So we need to, first of all, make sure we're getting our checks done, our physical checks, our health checks, you know, prostate. We need to get our prostate check. This fear of thing, you know, too many people is when they are about to die, they realize. And we have such a large problem in Jamaica with prostate cancer, really big. And then, you know, just trying to give people advice on finance, just to say, look here, make the sacrifice now. You will pay off for you in the future. And preparing for your retirement is not something you do when you're 50. It's something you start much younger. That's one of my regrets. I didn't start early enough. And sometimes you look back and you say, oh, you know, but if you make the sacrifice, you can achieve much more. You can reach much more by making those small sacrifices to own a home, to provide for your family, and trying to build a culture of making the sacrifice, doing the right things to achieve your goal financially, to be able to take care of yourself. We are living older. We are living longer now. People are living longer. But what they say is that it's not that the society is getting healthier. It's just that they have more drugs to keep you alive.
Yes.
And that's so true. See, you know,
Yeah.
one of the US national station did a full research on it. And what they say is that when you run out of the money is when your life runs out.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's the sad thing, because you're not getting healthier, but you have enough drugs to keep you alive. But the drug costs keep going up. Medical inflation is ridiculous. I mean, 3-4 times what the normal inflation rate is. So it's just to pass on some guidance and help someone, you know, to learn, hopefully, what I have learned over time, and, you know, not to make mistakes I make.
Absolutely. Sir James, what is your outlook for the next 20 to 30 years?
Well, I would like to continue to enjoy the company of my wife in good health many, many years to come. I would like to continue to stay active in some endeavor. If it's not directly in this job that I've had all these years, I'm sure that the Lord will find something for this craftsman to deal with. I've always got something to do. If somebody sees me sitting, they'll find something for me to do. I need your help. Come on over here. So I'm just looking forward to it. I have great expectations that the Lord still has blessings and mysteries that He is yet to unfold in the book of my life, and I'm looking forward to Him writing on those pages. So that's my outlook. Every day is a holiday, and every meal is a feast. And
I love it.
we were born with so many tomorrows, only so many, and each one of us, whether we admit it or not, have one less tomorrow when we wake up tomorrow. Take that day like it's the last one, everyone. Don't waste your time bickering. Don't waste your time worrying about politics. Don't worry about anything except how can I be a better servant to my Creator? How can I get the word out in a manner that's impactful to those that are lost? Because the most important thing that we can do ever is to be the reflection of the light of God, as the moon is at meridian height reflects the light of the sun into the darkness of the world, that we reflect the light of God into the darkness of the hearts of those that are lost. That's the main thing about this journey. It ain't how many camels you got or how many wives you have. It's how much did you answer the call that God has given us.
Absolutely. I love that, sir. You know, gentlemen, you have both gone on a journey that is a little longer than mine. And I want to ask you, how did you address the challenges that definitely came up? Both of you have said there have been ups and there have been downs. There have been mistakes made. How do you address it? What is your perspective on dealing with challenges?
Always pray. Always pray. And remember this too shall pass. I don't care what kind of calamity it is. And I've seen a lot of calamities. This has not been a veil of roses. There's been many, many serious heartaches. But that's part of living. Part of living is seeing people come into your life, see people leave your life. One day you'll be the person that leaves, and that heartache will be there for others. Since I married my wife, I have had 26 members of my family die. She's only had 3. So I'm almost the last from the family of my youth. I have one survivor, and that's my younger sister. Other than that, everybody's gone that I grew up with. Everybody.
I think from my standpoint, you know, I've said it even just recently, one of the hardest scripture to really cling to is this: all things work together for good.
Yep.
You know, it's not a easy scripture to hold on, especially when you're going through the valley of the shadow of death. Mm-hmm. You know, it becomes very difficult, but it is one that has granted you a lot of peace. I've gone through many, many difficult times in my life, But one of the things is the perspective God has just laid on my heart and the peace He has given me. I've been anxious and I've been, wanting to do things my way. And I've found out the reality that my way has not turned out very well. But, so I've had to lean back. As you get older, you get wiser to realize, look here, trust Him. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not unto your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge Him. And, some people may say, hear it, fear it. But I've made mistakes. And I'm saying to the person, I have also proven that works. It works every single time. Just trust in Him and just let Him lead you. Because very often, as men, we want to lead and take full control. But I tell you, there are circumstances where you really just down to your knees and realize you have no strength, no power, no ability to solve some of these. And you just have to just trust Him. And it has worked. It has worked for me. And I've just found, I've learned some difficult lessons, but God has really brought you through in all of this. He has brought me through.
Yep, absolutely. I love that. I love that. Gentlemen, what is the best thing for you about aging?
I'll start by saying, boy, my grandchildren.
Your grandchildren. That's the best thing.
Well, in my case, besides the grandchildren, it beats the alternative. So
I got you. Okay, it beats the alternatives. It surely does. That is the best thing about aging.
I want to ask you a favor. Could I give a shout out to a couple of people that are real important to me down there in Jamaica before we go?
Go ahead, sir.
All right. I would like to give Pastor Jones and the Mount Moriah Pentecostal Church a thank you for all the kindness that they've shown me. I have visited their church many years ago, and I'm so impressed by that church. They are wonderful people. The pastor is a great lady, and there's a lady that I've known for a long time. Her name is Lorna Hamilton. I met her probably 20 years ago. And then there's two people that got me involved, Colin Brown and Dottie Pereira. I can't remember how to say Dottie's last name. But anyway, they somehow got a hold, or Kathy got a hold of them and said, who do you know that 77 in their 70s and has a sense of humor? So they said, call James. I said,
James.
I'm a smart aleck. So, anyway,
I hear you.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate you, each and every one. Oh, by the way, I'm going to be down in Jamaica, God willing, in September. So if you're available, I'd be glad to come to Kingston and spend a day or so and have lunch, perhaps.
We will touch base, sir. That is great. Sure. Sir Eric, your final comments, Sir Eric. Aging.
I tell you, it is such a blessing. It's such a blessing because you can see just how things have, progressed over time. You look back on your time when you were, in primary school, in high school and college and starting out in marriage and having children, and you just look back every time along the way and you realize that, boy, God must have been in charge, because you didn't even realize how things have just lined up and how just doing the right things in the early stages of your life have helped you. And also making the mistakes you have made, it has hurt you. And, you could have done better. But just being where you are now, you can look back to see how God has just blessed you, regardless of all the difficulties. And I've seen His hand of mercy and grace. And I look forward to the years to come. As I said, to the more work in the church, to the more preaching, to the more visitation of the shut-ins and help feed the poor, and the more of it. I mean, I'm doing more. God bless you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I really appreciate you, gentlemen. Thank you for being with us. And to our listeners and viewers, if you have questions of a personal nature or you're concerned about a friend or a family member, call Family Life Ministries. You can get more information by just calling the numbers 920-1034 or 926-8101. For appointments and information on costs, you must call the offices. Otherwise, you can keep up to date with what's happening by checking us out on our new Facebook page, and it is FLM-Family Life Ministries, or subscribe to our YouTube channel, Family Life Ministries-FLMJA, and on Instagram, and it is simply FLMJA. Before we leave you, here's our verse for this evening. It's from Proverbs 16, verse 31. It says, "Gray hair is a crown of splendor. It is attained by a righteous life." Gray hair is a crown of splendor. It is attained by a righteous life. And that's Proverbs 16, verse 31. Join us again next week for another informative program. Thanks again to our special guests, Eric Hosin and James Darnell. Thanks also to our show producer, Kathy Gale. Thanks to Derval Graham for piloting us through this hour. And of course, thank you for joining us, for being here with us for this hour. Have a great week. And my name is Roland. God bless you.
Revelation 1 verse 14 describes Jesus' hair as being white like wool, as white as snow. Is this literally or figuratively so? Does like wool suggest that Jesus also had dark